Hi guys, it's Tom, and I've got myself a another Honda. This is a 2004 Honda Civic. This is the base model. So I'm not sure what they're called. It could be a DX, or it could be like a HX. I'm not sure. I didn't think they called the two-door models DXs, but they could have. But it's a coupe. Even though it's an 04, it's nearly identical to the EV project here. It has a different hood, I believe, but I think the front fenders and doors are the same. But yeah, so as you can see, it's pretty obvious. It's took a pretty good wallop right there in the front, but it has good bags in it. Right there's the airbag sensor. I don't see any damage to the frame horn here. This big piece here. There could be some slight damage right here because it looks like the brunt of the impact was here. But yeah, everything's caved in on it. Actually, the grill, with the exception of that, which a heat gun might fix, is pretty good. I don't think we need a new grill. But of course, the core support, the radiator, and the AC condenser are wasted. Even though the battery's all pinched up there, it's still good. Nothing happened around the engine. It runs and lot drives well. None of the wheels on all four corners have been hit. The interior is all good. No rips, no tears. Looks nice, front and back. So it does have AC. The only thing is it doesn't have any power windows or power door locks. It's crank window. It does have AC. It does not have things like cruise or anything like that. It's just a standard model, and standard includes AC. So it's got a little bit different taillights than the EV project does. We got some rear quarter damage here. This door is almost untouched, but yet we got damage on the rear quarter here. And let's see, it's got, for whatever reason, I don't think this is related to the accident. It's got a couple large, here you can see one right here, so those will be fun to get out. But I don't think that is related to the accident. It could be. I also don't think this broken windshield is related to the accident. I think that is from somebody raising the hood up. I think these corners on the hood being bent up are from raising the hood up. So I think that's how that windshield got broke. What a shame. Because nothing appears to be moved down in here. You know, I would think that the brake, if it was broken from the impact, that some of this would move up into it, and I don't think it did. The windshield is not scarred or cracked down here at the bottom. So it's an impact, and I believe it's from raising the hood up. The hood just goes up so far, and you can see the prop is kind of propping it in the middle there. But you know, basically this car is almost identical to the EV project, and I think that I originally bought this car. I got a good deal on it, what I think is a good deal anyway. And I originally bought this car to flip. It is salvage. It has 160,000 miles on it, and but I think we're going to keep this car. I think we'll keep this and probably sell the Sonata, but as long as my wife will have it. But she's not opposed to driving a stick. We've had many stick cars, and as long as she can do without her electric window, an electric door lock, and her cruise, I think we'll be okay. But this car will get great fuel mileage, even compared to the Sonata. It'll probably burn half the gas that the Sonata burns in the city. So yeah, and seeing as how I'm making this one electric, oh yeah, maybe in the future, because I'll know everything then, and it'll just be a matter of ordering the parts and installing them, you know, without restoring a vehicle. You know, I actually wish I could have got something like this for the money I spent on it versus this. So, but you know, it is what it is. I do like this car here because it's just fully loaded. It has all the options. So it's a much nicer car to drive, I would imagine, than this one as far as amenities go. But it's even got the same exact transmission in it. That was the first thing I checked, because Honda makes two transmissions that'll work in the Civic, or that were available in the Civic, and one of them is a little bit higher ratio in the final drive than the other, and these have the higher ratio, so they turn more RPM at highway speed than the other option, and it works out that both of my cars end up with that transmission down there is the same exact transmission that's in here. So that's where we're at on that. So yeah, I just thought I'd turn the camera on. I haven't made a video in a while, not for lack of not working. It's just I've been busy as heck. But my neighbors there, they had wrecked their car, which it's inside, and I made video of the car when I got it, and when the body work was done, and then primer, and but I did not make video after I painted it yet. So I don't know if I'll ever get to that, but if I do, I'll put up a little video of that or whatever, maybe, because I did go along and make the videos. But it came out great. They were super happy with it. It was pretty much side-swiped on the side there, pretty bad, and we fixed it all up and got that taken care of. And I guess you would just call this a little bit of an update. And I've been kind of gathering some parts here, and I got an interesting part today for my EV project, and this is going to be the oh, hang on here a minute. Okay, so I picked up this part today, which is key to our mounting system on our motor to the transmission. And what this is, the name of this is, I'll just kind of quickly just show you here. This is called a split taper bushing, and this diameter here is tapered. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. It's really difficult to see on such a short length, but it does have a taper, very slight. I can't remember what it is. I want to say it's a half a degree in a foot, or a degree and a half in a foot, or something like that. So this is an 1 1/8 diameter, and here's our motor. You get down here. And this will go on there. Actually, I got it backwards. This will go on here. Darn box will not cooperate. So this will go on here. It's keyed, as you can see there. It's 1/4 inch key, same as my shaft on my motor, which, yeah, there it is. There's the key, you can see it. And we'll machine our hub. You know, this may be too long and we may end up cutting a lot of this away, I don't know yet, but we'll machine a hub to match our flywheel, and we'll also machine the an ID bore to match the taper on this. And then what will happen, and I talked about this in one of the earlier videos on the EV, that we would take and put we'll machine the hub, like I said, and then it'll match the taper and then match the flywheel, and then we'll screw the hub to this flange, and as it pulls up on the taper, it will clamp against the shaft. Of course, the keyway will still be in there as well, so it will have superior clamping ability, much better in my opinion than a slip fit with just set screws on top of the key. So, and if you ever go to take it off, it should come off very easy, and you won't have to use a puller or anything like that on it. So that's one thing I picked up today. I got an appointment with the machine shop. You know, we're all in the works on our motor adapter and hub adapter, and this is half of the hub adapter. So I found this at Granger. They had many different versions of it, different size diameters here, and different size you know, flanges. They had great big ones and they had smaller ones, and this is the smaller one. So I think this is going to work great, and we're working on getting all that stuff machined up, because basically what we have left on our or what the next thing to do is on our EV here is to get this subframe sandblasted. We'll rebuild it, all new bushings and bearings, new struts of course, and we'll get the motor mated up to the transmission, and then we'll be able to put all this stuff in the car. And then it's just a matter of plug and play, hooking up and everything else. And of course we got our batteries. We'll build a battery box, and once we have the batteries in the car, we can make the wheels spin. So it's a fairly simple ordeal. As far as the electric drivetrain goes of it, the bigger ordeal is basically the restoration of the vehicle. You know, that we have many more hours restoring the vehicle and giving it a beautiful finish on the outside, and making over you know, putting some cool wheels on it that are going to be very custom painted and everything else. There's 10 times the hours doing that versus the electric drivetrain. So, but with moving forward with the vehicle, my next my next detail in the video is going to be to get our subframe all rebuilt, get the motor and transmission mounted together, and get it up inside the car. Then we'll worry about mounting on the accessory side of the motor and all of that. So I'm picking up this this part today. Was good. I'll take this to the machine shop, and with a little bit of drawing of the hub, and then I need a machine for it, and they already have all the stuff for the motor adapter, so which is going to be the piece that holds the motor and adapts it to the transmission. And we're going to be able to get all this stuff CNC'd and everything else, so all these contours on the transmission will be followed, and it just won't be a big block. I want it to be professional looking, and you know, all these little nooks and crannies are going to be taken care of. So one thing I may go ahead and do is pull that axle out and make me a little bit of a cardboard template there just to make sure, because my print has all the major contours in it, but it may not have some of this other little stuff here and there. So I was thinking I might take a cardboard impression, you know, just take a hammer and a piece of material and go around and make it a little bit of an impression, so that we can compare that with the print and make sure that we don't have any surprises as far as the contour, because I'm just being a stickler about the contour, and maybe that's overly picky, but you know, I just don't want no great big square block of aluminum in this thing, you know, sticking out. I want it to look nice. And also I've been thinking about painting my transmission just black, because it is aluminum. I have power washed this whole unit before, and so it is pretty clean and grease free, but you know, this transmission is going to be so visible compared to, well, let's just have a look here. This video is kind of getting windy, but you know, it is an update and sometimes them are a little bit out of control. But you know, you can see, you can't even see the transmission here. So I've been thinking about painting the transmission just a flat black. You know, I'm thinking I might hit it with a little bit of coarse steel wool and just paint it a flat black, so that it's not this, you know, polishing something like this or trying to make it look good is going to be a wasted effort, in my opinion. It'll be very time consuming. It'll be so much easier to just make sure it's degreased and paint the darn thing black, I think. That'll be the easiest, quickest cure for it, and I think it'll look the best the longest. So I think that's what I might do there. But yeah, well, that's kind of an update on what I've been up to. Even though I haven't put any videos up, I've been pretty busy. So we got this in, and I'm thinking we should keep it because of its electrical possibilities down the road. You know, not this year, not next year, but maybe 2 or 3 years down the road. I think it's a solid car. It's a Honda Civic, so for me, that's I'm a Honda Civic fan. I've worked on a lot of them. I've painted a lot of them, and I got one that is basically stripped, and my opinion of the car is very high. So I would much rather work on something like this than I would anything else that I can think of right now. So very simple cars and all that. So anyway, we're going to make a parts list on this and get her going. And I don't think this looks way worse, guys, than it really is. I swear it's not as bad as it looks. Once we take that fender off and take our soft stuff here off the front, finish taking it apart, get the hood off of it, we'll get that core support exposed, and we will buy a new one. A new core support for this is $43. $43. That's another thing about these cars. The parts are cheap. I did a preliminary deal. The hood, the fender, the AC condenser, the radiator, the headlight. What else was on there? Bumper cover. I can't remember if I had the bumper rebar, core, whatever you want to call it, this piece here on that list or not, but it was $218 for all the parts. Okay, so you just can't knock it, you know. And if you can't beat them, then join them. That's what I say. So for the money, the highest resale value in the land basically is a Honda, and the parts are the cheapest in the land. So, and fenders and stuff, The hoods, I've replaced them before, they fit. You know, it ain't like some Chevy half-ton fender that is off 2 inches on holes. And you know, some of you guys may laugh and think I'm exaggerating there. Well, you go try to hang an aftermarket fender on a Chevy half-ton, and you get back with me after that. So there we go. That's what we're doing here, and we're kind of Hondaing it up here. So there we go. I'm proud of my new purchase, and I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal to fix it. After we get that old core support out and weld a new one in there, yeah, we're going to be in business. Because all of our lights, all of our light points, and all that stuff, it'll all be straight again, all automatically, without having to get a hammer out as far as trying to straighten this stuff. So there we go. We'll do some videos on this, and we're going to keep plugging away on the EV, and we're going to have plenty of video for the EV coming up. So alright guys, take it easy.